Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to have a go at doing the Scent Memories tag. So the Scent Memories tag was a tag created by Claire Smith from the channel Claire Smith. Thank you, Claire. I haven't actually been tagged to do this, but I watched Sam Smells, the lovely Sam from this channel Sam Smells, do this tag. Really enjoyed it. She took her own little twist on it. The Scent Memory tag is actually about scents associated with questions, not necessarily fragrance, just scents in general. But Sam assigned fragrances to each question, obviously, which seems more fitting. So I'm going to do the same as Sam and assign fragrances to each scent association. So there's 13 questions, and the first question is the first scent memory. So my first scent memory, gosh, I can't even remember last week half the time, so I don't know. I always want to think of certain toys, doll's head, plasticky sort of scents. Those are very, very reminiscent of childhood. However, in terms of fragrances that I've chosen a fragrance that actually does remind me of an early memory of the Avon lady. My mum was a huge fan of Avon, and actually my nanny was an Avon lady. And it's nice that it does still exist, but obviously the depressing part is that it's all online. Everything's online. It was quite a sign of the times when an Avon lady would knock at the door and go, Avon calling. Anyway, there's lots of scents I could associate with the Avon booklet. Specifically, I like the scratch and sniff perfume pages. I really do. Or rather, I really did. So this fragrance I've got here reminds me of the scratch and sniff pages from the glossy Avon booklet. It's from the house of Mendittorosa, and it is called Sogno Reale. This is part of their Talismans collection. This is a amber fragrance. It's a salty but also soft amber. The scent I get from this when I sniff from the bottle is the scent I get in the dry down. But when I spray this, it's actually, the opening of this isn't particularly my favourite. You get a lot of the sharper notes, like, what have we got in here? The bergamot, the patchouli. It opens quite sharp, which I don't particularly like, but as it dries down, you get this very soft but quite salty marine amber, which is just lovely. But it also has this nod to being a vintage sort of ambery, slightly animalic fragrance that does make me think of something to do with the Avon booklet, some sort of perfume that was featured in an Avon book, some vintage amber style. That would be my association of an early scent memory, is this Avon scratch and sniff perfume page. So that is Sogno Reale from Mendittorosa. So question number 2 is happiness smells like. I've got a fragrance that I bought recently and it makes me smile, at least. It's from the house of Byron. It's my first Byron fragrance, and it is Mula. So the presentation is quite plush, quite luxurious, and it wasn't cheap. The prices have gone up recently because the packaging has been majorly updated. I love the packaging, I have to say. So this is Mula. There's also a Mula Extreme, which comes in the red bottle. First heard about Byron from the channel Fab Trends Mia, and she's absolutely fabulous, and she's spoken about many Byrons. She loves Mula. Mia very kindly sent me a sample of Mula, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I saw Tony from Fragdicted opening. He bought the Chronic, and I saw him doing an unboxing, and the packaging was just beautiful, and the bottle just completely shone. I thought, yeah, now's the time. Despite this very luxurious packaging, very elegant, sophisticated packaging, I would say the fragrance is none of the above. It's really nothing elegant. It's not sophisticated. It's a very fun, sweet, fruity caramel oud. There is a big dose of caramel. You've got peach, red fruit, saffron oud, benzoin, vanilla. Let's get this out of here. Hang on. So sniffing it, caramel, red fruits. That's kind of the peach. The fruits and the caramel are the things that hit me first. It's such a bomb. It's such a strong fragrance, this one. Massive projection, massive character. There's no movement in this scent. It's very there it is, in your face. You like it or you don't like it. It's not going to change too much. It's just happy. I like it because it's happy. It's very sweet. It's very fun. The oud and the saffron bring this big punch of something stable, I suppose. It's interesting because when I read up on Fragrantica, the reviews, most women say it smells masculine and most men say it smells feminine. So I guess we've got ourselves a nice in-between. It's very sweet. The caramel and the red fruits are, you could say, more leaning, traditionally feminine. However, the saffron and the oud and probably that benzoin brings it back over again to a more traditional leaning men's fragrance, I suppose. I can see both sides of that. I can. This scent makes me think of eating jelly beans. Lots of fun, coloured, all colours jelly beans. It's a very colourful fragrance. Jelly beans or jam washed down with a really nice beer. Actually, not beer, lager. It's fizzy. There's something sparkling. It's a light fizzy lager and jelly beans. It's fun, it's sweet, it's addictive. It's like a really good party scent, I would say. It's lovely, actually. So that is Mula by Byron. So question 3, love smells like. Okay, well, this is going to be a little cliche. It is Delina and it's Parfums de Marly. This scent is romantic. It is my romantic fairy tale in a pink, beautiful French Baroque looking bottle with a beautiful little crystal on the top. This is a love smells like, because if I was getting married tomorrow, I'd probably wear Delina. My husband bought it for me on my birthday. It's the scent I associate with him. If we're going anywhere nice, we're going to a wedding together. We don't get to do much together, we're both really busy all the time. But when we go somewhere nice, Delina is the scent I would associate. A pleasant day out, anything like that, I would wear Delina. It's pretty, it's very pink smelling. He really likes this fragrance on me as well. Roses, lychee, rhubarb. There's tonka in the base. It's a pink, sweet and sour, luxurious, but also quite velvety smelling scent. It just smells romantic and it smells like love. So that is Delina from Parfums de Marly. So number 4 is Heartbreak or Loss smells like. I don't think I've got a fragrance that makes me think of heartbreak. The only fragrance I could really pick out in this category is the fragrance I wore on my dad's funeral last year, and it's the only association I have of anything that's sad, particularly since I started collecting fragrances. It's actually still something I love and enjoy because it is incredibly beautiful. From the same house we've already mentioned, it's Parfums de Marly, and this is actually Meliora. This is it's a very pretty, casual, but still elegant blackcurrant and floral vanilla scent. The most dominant note to me is the blackcurrant. There's also cassis in here and red berries. Lovely vanilla. There's also rose. There's a few florals in here which keep it pretty. It's a creamy, milky blackcurrant, but with a freshness from the fruits and from the florals. It just seemed like a bright and uplifting without being too much sort of scent. It still had this mellow tone and something sort of classy at the same time. And also it was sort of last autumn. So this scent is something I usually think about when autumn comes. It's a scent that I associate with autumn. I think that was just the manner in which I chose it. But it's beautiful. Although it's a scent of loss, it's not a negative experience, and I do absolutely love that fragrance. So that is Meliora from Parfums de Marly. So question 5 is friendship smells like. I've actually chosen 2 here. I didn't know what to choose, but I haven't really been sociable for about a year and a half, if I'm honest. I'm not the most sociable creature in the world, but the last time I actually was going out doing anything fun with friends was about a year and a half ago. Fragrances I think I wore the most during those times were, one, as more of a daytime scent, was Cloud from Arianna Grande. It was very fun. It would always seem to get me a nice compliment, which is never a bad thing. You know, if we're honest, we all enjoy a little compliment now and again. It smells a bit plastic, if I'm honest. I don't wear it as much anymore. I've got so many fragrances now. I still think it's lovely. For the money, I think it's fantastic. It has the Baccarat vibe, Baccarat Rouge vibe, I guess, going on. But it's much more coconut milk dominant. It's a plasticky coconut. There's a hint of lavender. I think is there caramel in there? Praline in there. And you've got, I think, mint. Oh, I can't remember now. It's a fun sort of seaside scent. Very casual in a very bouncy, fun way. It makes me think of eating ice cream or eating rock at Brian Pier. It's got that slightly, I don't know, seaside vibe about it. It's Cloud from Arianna Grande. And then I've got another one, which is more of an evening association, going out to the pub or for a meal. And that is Crystal Noir by Versace. This is the EDP. Absolutely love this. Absolutely love it. This is probably my favourite designer fragrance. Creamy, gardenia, coconut, and what else in it? Oh, cardamom, that's it. So it's It's not heavy in the coconut. I'm not the biggest coconut fan. It's a better coconut than what's in here. This is more plasticky. This is incredible. It's because coconut cream. I say coconut cream that's spiced up with cardamom, and you've got a gardenia floral. It's also quite strong, but it's so beautifully blended. It becomes this quite evening appropriate scent. I think that the EDT is more fruity, more tropical leaning, whereas the EDP has that more elegant, sort of darker feeling about it. It's got that very heavy cardamom coconut cream thing, and I just think it's much more edgy and more beautiful. So that is my friendship smells like for evenings. Question number 6 is, what does success smell like, or success smells like? This is more of an idea of success as opposed to an actual fragrance that I have association with. I'm not the most ambitious person. I keep things very simple. Success to me is a quiet evening, not having to deal with anything, just having a bit of peace and quiet. That's my idea of success, which is a bit boring, I know. But I have a fragrance here that I only bought recently, and I've got to be honest, it's nothing like I would ever normally go for. I've always seen the bottle and been curious about the design and thought this looks so unusual. I've always wondered about it, knowing that it wouldn't be my thing. Pika's channel, I think she's fabulous. She's got a very similar taste to me, I've noticed, and she loves Eau de Soir. And the way she describes it kind of made me think maybe I might like it. This fragrance is definitely a classic chypre, but it has a much more brighter style. I bought a mini. Actually, let me go and get the mini. Okay, I ran upstairs and got the mini. I haven't even told you what this fragrance is. Okay, from the House of Sisley. This is Eau de Soir. I mean, look how adorable this is. Love it. Got the bottle. So when I think of a vintage chypre, I think of something that's very dry, earthy with moss and patchouli, and something that usually reminds me of aldehydes or has aldehydes, or reminds me of Chanel No. 5, which is the least of my style. This has no aldehydes in it, and actually it's quite fresh and bright. It's got a sharpness, it has got that dryness to it, but it's a lovely balance of both this very bright, refreshing bite of citruses, I think there's grapefruit and various citruses in here, but also classic chypre. So it's like a refreshing green chypre. And the reason I would mark it as a success is because it smells like something you would wear in a very important job when you're at the top of your game, maybe a CEO, or someone who's just high-flying in London, maybe a banker or something in events, I don't know. It's got such a professional character, takes itself seriously, dry bites from this chypre quality of the oak moss and the patchouli and all that. Yeah, the smell of success. If I was one of the types that I've mentioned, I would wear this, and I'm not one of them types, but I'm going to wear it anyway because I think it's beautiful. So I'd wear it on a day I want to feel confident and focused, and professional. I think that's beautiful sort of fragrance for that, and that is why it is the smell of success for me. So that is the Eau de Soir from the House of Sisley. So question 7 is, what does my worst smell like? I've got a couple of smells that I think are disgusting. There's a plant or a weed that I used to walk to school and see every day, or rather I'd actually smell it when I walk past it. I don't know what it was to this day. I've never smelled it since, but the blooms smelt like spit or some other bodily fluid. Okay, it made me retch. There's some plant out there which is just all wrong, but it was gross, absolutely gross, and it'd get into my sinuses in the throat, make me heave. Well, there is a fragrance that actually smells a bit like that I thought would be beautiful. It's from the House of Penhaligons, and it's called Bluebell. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but Bluebell, when I sampled it, it smelled like spit, but also like a toilet cleaner. Can't back that up with anything. It just made me heave. So let's just leave that as it is. The second smell is the smell of fuel. The smell of fuel within a car makes me feel terribly ill, and I can't stand it. It goes straight to my head in the same way that patchouli gets straight to my head. That's what fuel does for me. And I have got a fragrance that unfortunately goes in that direction, because if it didn't, it'd be amazing. But this is from Tom Ford. It's just a decat that I've got now. I got this from eBay. Black Violet has a lovely dark violet opening, and fruits, and I can't remember what else was actually in here, but it ends up in a very car fumes sort of scent, probably more elegant than how I'm describing it. It's actually really beautiful if you don't mind car fumes. Dust makes me think of being in a car and having a headache. I love the opening. I love elements to it. The dark, deep, edgy violet elements are lovely in here, but it just ends up being lots of car fumes, and I can't get past that, unfortunately. So that is Black Violet by Tom Ford. Sorry about the change of light. I had to go off and come back, and we're now into the evening, so I've lost the daylight that we had, but we're going to carry on. We're up to question 8. So this is what an ideal vacation smells like, what my ideal vacation smells like. I've got 2 fragrances again. Tom Ford, Mandarino, di Amalfi, Aqua. So this to me is the perfect in-between of having marine and citrus and salty and beachy. It's a good mix of everything. It's not too far one way or the other. There's a lot of notes in here. I can't remember many of them. We've got a few florals. We have some woody notes, I believe. Some sort of more aquatic kind of notes. You have a sort of Mediterranean sea breeze, which is very cold and very uplifting. And it's quite aromatic. There's an aromatic herbal nature in here that's blowing around the scent of a mandarin. Very bright from the mandarin and citrus, but still so fresh and uplifting and marine-like. It's just a perfect mix of everything, and I would say this was my perfect holiday abroad, at least to the Mediterranean, that kind of a scent. So I'm going to go with that from vacation abroad, but I'm going to go with the second scent because it would be my holiday UK, which is my favourite kind of holiday because I don't have to travel too far. I'm not a big traveller. So Womanity from Muglar. I've talked about this one quite a lot because I'm very fond of it. It's a seaside, not a tropical seaside, obviously. We're talking about UK beaches, more of a rocky, rough coastal line where you have rock pools, very salty water rock pools. You have lots of seaweed washed up. And that's what it smells like to me. But it's very bright from the note of fig. So we have fig tree, fig leaf, fig fruit, and the note of caviar, bringing that more salty marine edge. It's very polarizing. It's very unusual. I love it because it really is to me the scent of being in a rock pool. That's my holiday perfume here in the UK. That's Womanity. Question number 9. My house smells like, well, in terms of going back to my mum's, which I still think of as home, I always associate the smell of the most beautiful roast chicken dinner. My mum makes the best roast. I think most people say their mum makes the best roast dinners. Well, my mum does make the best roast dinner. Chicken roast, phenomenal. I'm not going to match a scent to that because that would be really weird and certainly niche. The best fragrance association to my home is actually, I know I keep going on about this fragrance, but there is an association. So Ormonde Woman, which I've said is a beautiful aromatic, spicy, woody, green kind of fragrance. Very balmy, very spa-like. The notes in here somehow bring together the scent of chrysanthemum. And I always forget to mention that when I talk about this fragrance on YouTube. I've done a post on Instagram and I have mentioned about the chrysanthemum association, but I always forget to do it here. Rose is my favourite flower, but in terms of buying a bunch of flowers just to put on the table in the kitchen, my favourite sort of friendly house flower is the chrysanthemum. In particular, the green scented white daisy chrysanthemum. They're my absolute favourite. And the scent of those are this sort of spicy, green, but fresh kind of flower. And this is what this smells like to me. Exactly that scent. So yeah, somehow this smells just like a chrysanthemum. It's still balmy, it's still spa-like, it's the spicy green balmy edge this has, but also freshness, very natural. It smells like the most beautiful bunch of chrysanthemums, and that's how I like my house to smell like, when it's got chrysanthemums on the table in the kitchen. Question 10. The first thing I smell in the morning is typically toothpaste. I mean, it is the first thing. First thing I want to smell in the morning is coffee. The first thing I'll do is just race to the bathroom and brush my teeth. There's nothing worse than having that sensation in your mouth that you haven't brushed your teeth. I hate it more than anything. The fragrance I've got with the strongest note of mint actually is Florabotanica by Balenciaga, and mint really isn't my favourite scent. It really isn't. It's association of being travel sick. Again, from people always offering me polos or mints and saying that it helps when you travel sick. It's never helped me when I'm travel sick. it's just made me feel a damn sight worse. So I've never really enjoyed the taste of mint. So I'll brush over this quickly. This is a toothpastey green. There's cannabis in here, there is a carnation, so you've got that sort of spicy, very heady, but also very soapy quality. Not my favourite scent in the world. I crave it on a very small occasion, but overall it tends to give me a headache, which mint often does anyway. So that's a quick one. That is Florabotanica. Number 11, last thing I smell at night. Well, actually, it's never the same scent. It's going to be whatever I've sprayed on that evening. It could be absolutely anything. The last thing I sprayed last night, my scent of the night, if you like, was Hugo Boss, the scent Private Accord. Very rarely wear this, actually. I hang on to it. There's something about it that I kind of like. It smells very... It's a crumbly... it's like a crumbly milk chocolate with a very synthetic note of mandarin or orange, and there's also a floral quality in here. It's very nice. It's got a synthetic quality, which some days I don't like, some days I do. It's okay. I don't really ever sell it because I like it. I don't love it, but I quite like having it anyway because every now and again I fancy it. It's all right. It's all I can say. But that was my scent last night, so that's the answer for that question. Number 12, the scent I love that others don't. Any kind of weird smells. I do love the smell of matches. And you know that smell when you pull a cracker at Christmas and I will actually hold the cracker to my nose and sniff up as hard as I can. I love that smell. I love it. I've got nothing in my collection that smells like that, unfortunately. The other sort of smell I rather like is kind of a plasticky... I like the smell of plastic. I think it's that association of being a kid with a new beach ball or new jelly shoes or a new Thundercats action figure. Yes, I love Thundercats. Okay. I've got a couple of fragrances, I guess, that smell plasticky. I don't know. I mean, we've mentioned Cloud from Arianna Grande. There's definitely a cheap plasticky quality in that, which I actually do really like. Manicara from Indult. It reminds me of a pink nuggety shrimp sweet that you find in the pick and mix. But there's this undercurrent of a plastic tray or a plasticky edge. It makes it addictive in the most innocent way. It makes it very addictive. Makes it just unusual. Can't stop sniffing it. Yeah, there's a plastickiness in here. Not everyone picks up on it. I do, but I think it's the element in here that I quite like. I find it moreish, addictive, but intriguing. A plasticky candy shop rose lychee fragrance that I absolutely love. Question 13, unlucky for some. I smell like all of the above. I love all of these fragrances. My favourite fragrance at the moment that I think would be an easy signature scent for me if I didn't have so many fragrances, but I absolutely love this scent so much. This is Ormonde. This is Damask. So this is based around a Damascus rose. Blackcurrant, pear, lemon, those are the fruits. Those fruits combined give me a very strong rhubarb. Sharp but also sweet, lovely fresh rhubarb scent. That combined with the rose and other notes gives me Delina vibes, but Delina I would say is more luxurious. There's a powdery nature to this. It has a more cushiony, velvety nature. This is all about fresh and clean and very bright and refreshing. There's obviously rose, mineral notes, amber, vetiver. There's a lovely warm base from amber and vetiver. Mostly it's just smooth ribbons of this beautiful rose with the fruits that give me this lovely plump sort of rhubarby feeling. And that is the scent I'm happy to say I would be associated with and smell like. So that is Ormonde Damask. And that brings us to the end of the Scent Memories tag. Anyone that wants to do this tag is wide open for you all. I'd love to see many of you doing it. And that's it. I'll leave you there. Thanks so much for watching. Over and out.